Okay, so it's finally time to obtain the new combat enchantments. I can go and get my progress all the way to milestone 3 by just heading back and handing in these completed quests. So there we go. We have got the second piece of fashion there at milestone 3. We can open the store and we should have enough currency indeed to buy the combat enchantments. They are locked behind getting progress to week 3. And they will require 100,000 astral diamonds, 500 of the glyphs of warding, which you get from, again, heroic encounters in your quests. You'll need 150 of these elite sigils, which you get from doing your lockdown event, your mini bosses, and also the assassin hunt thing. And then you need the mint, 70 of that. You have 100 every week cap, and you get that just by doing your quests. But we're going to buy the uncommon Lightning Flash. This is going to be the green variant of a new combat enchantment for damage dealers. At least that's what I'm expecting based on the tooltip. So first things first is we need to get this thing upgraded. So it's just going to upgrade exactly the same as with your other combat enchantments. Like right now we're running Poison Thorn, and so we'll just run and use a co-mode there, because otherwise your upgrade chance is 0%, and then you'd have to use the mess of preservation wards. So it's coal wards all the way, getting it legendary and getting it finally to mythic. There we go. Final upgrade success. And that is our now mythic Lightning Flash. They've changed again enchantments. They look a little bit different, and they have the rank based on the quality in the name now. So like mythic citrine and mythic garnet. I think it helps a little bit with clarity. But here we go. Mythic Lightning Flash. And indeed, as predicted, it is giving that 2.5% accuracy and critical strike. Maximum 3 stacks, so that's 7.5% accuracy and 7.5% critical strike. And it has the ability to deal extra damage on your critical strike every 10 seconds. Not something I'm really going to consider as much benefit, but yeah, it has that going for it. But if you compare it with like Poison Thorn, basically all your at-wills encounters and daily powers can deal 25 extra magnitude poison damage, but delayed by 4 seconds. And then you also have the debuff ability of reducing your enemy's movement speed. And that was it for that enchantment. And then you also had another option as Cursed Burn, where that was basically dealing consistent dot damage. So your powers would cause your foe to burn for 7.5% damage as fire damage every 1 second for 3 seconds, and they would just continually burn, and they would have a chance to explode, so it would be useful for AoE. And overall, Curse Burn was dealing about 4% damage on a wizard, and Poison Thorn down as little as 2%, depending on what you're using. If you're using like Ray and Frost, you could get that nearly to 4% as well. So they were pretty close. So right now we have the new mythic Lightning Flash, and we've got to test that. So we're going to head over to the Sword Coast into Protector's Enclave and go to the training room. So the first thing I want to see is my stats getting increased. So let's have a look, right? We have 75% critical strike and 44% accuracy. We should expect to see us getting to 82% critical strike and 51% accuracy. And we'll just summon the dude and we'll get right on attacking. So just attacking here, we do have the Serene Hood, but I don't believe we can proc it just by attacking normally. But we can see we gain the lightning charge there just very easily. Very easy to just sustain it as well. Like each time we attack, we will keep refreshing the timer on that. So that's very good. And as for our stats, yes, we have that 82% critical strike and we have that 52% accuracy because we had a little bit higher. And if we have a look, we can see our buff bar there, and that is the Lightning Flash. So as soon as I attack, there's the lightning charge, and you just have to attack 2 times and there you get your lightning charge. Very easy. So now let's find out, does Lightning Flash proc on, let's say, any hit? Does it have to be just our primary attacks? We'll use our icy terrain there, and we can see that the dots from the icy terrain is not triggering it. So you have to be actively attacking. Yeah, like even if we use this power right here, which has a dot effect, Conduit of Ice, only the first time you cast it will it trigger that. So yeah, you're gonna have to be attacking all the time to be able to sustain that. But it's very easy, no requirement of hit points or anything. So it's very nice to gain that reliable stat boost from there that works. And we can have a look at the extra damage hit on there. It seems to be a bit bugged because now it's only saying 216. Like we put that back in our inventory. Now it says only 203 magnitude damage. We move it back to 16. It's okay. We resummon our companion. Maybe it goes back to 240. Okay, if we put that in our inventory, 226. So that seems a little bit wacky right there. Maybe they need to fix a few things. But let's see what kind of damage we can get here on this boss dummy with that enchantment. So we have some buffs up, not everything, and we don't have raptors or anything. So our stats are a bit of a mess. Yes, especially with this new enchantment, not making the most of it either. But yeah, very easy to keep the stats up from that. We'll just do a short minute test here. All right, so having a look at the log, this is not any rotation or anything, just me mashing my buttons. We have Lightning Flash, and we can see it hit 15 times over that minute and 20 seconds. All right, makes sense. But the damage is pretty broken. Yes, busted. 240 base damage. It's not scaling off anything apparently. So that's completely broken. But regardless of that, it's still going to be one of the best in slot enchantments for DPS, if not the best. And you could run it on a healer as well for the extra critical strike. The stats, it's 15% stats. Even if you look at the worst case scenario where maybe you have 60% accuracy, then you use Lightning Flash to gain basically the crit strike and the accuracy. That's 15% stats. But if you had before you used Lightning Flash, 90% crit strike, then you'll just move some stats and gain more accuracy or maybe some more damage buffs. But even if it's just putting it in accuracy, you can see that would be a 5.67% damage gain just from those stats alone. That means this is clearly best in slot because no other Cursed Burn or Poison Thorn can deal upwards of even 5% of our overall damage on our build. And our stats generally affect all of our damage. We can take a look here. For example, running, let's say, I believe this was Crown of Keldagon. We had, let's say, a Ranger who was using Cursed Burn, and that was 3% of their damage. We have a Barbarian, and we have Poison Thorn, and that was 2% of their damage. We can move to Tower of the Mad Mage. We have a Rogue, and we have Cursed Burn, and there you go. We only have 2% damage. So Cursed Burn and Poison Thorn, the most you're hitting is like 4% overall damage gain, and so it's clearly better just to have the stats. It'll allow you to be a bit more flexible with your build. Give the ability to gain more damage bonuses. For example, let's say this armor piece with some more damage, or another damage companion, or damage rings. For example, with the next module, you'll probably want, after doing the trial a bit, to make use of the rings like 10% damage against beholders and 6% damage when you dodge, block, or sprint when in Undermountain. And then as a set combined with both those, you gain another 2% damage against the boss. So having this enchantment to make up for the stat loss of like not having these two stat rings will be really helpful. And it will give us a bit more damage. And overall, yeah, I believe this will be best in slot. If it stays the way that it is, it will be the new best in slot combat enchantment. I don't see it as such a big deal that it's going to be best in slot, because they still have their uses, Poison Thorn and Cursed Burn. Like Poison Thorn is built to like debuff the movement speed of enemies. Yes, the damage sucks on it. It could have its magnitude improved a little bit more. Cursed Burn also could have its magnitude increased a bit more, especially on the exploding bomb effect to make it a bit better in AoE. But I like how the Lightning Flash gives that stats, and it's nice 15%. And yes, you can use this very easily on a healer as well, because those stacks, they last forever. They last you the full 10 seconds. You don't have to attack much at all. And on a healer, that's a 7.5% critical strike percentage. That's really nice. You just have to have a healer build which can actually attack. And clerics, no problem. Bards, no problem. Paladins, usually no problem as well. And so this might be best in slot for that. But I'll make another video. We'll test out the next combat enchantment. I'll have to do a bit more in-depth testing on it. The Refulgent Fortification. And then we can also do Living Hex after I do a bit more grinding. So, hopefully this has been somewhat insightful, you guys. Yes, as far as we can see right now, again, it's still open to change. On the preview server of Module 25, this new Lightning Flash Combat Enchantment looks to definitely be best in slot. The math supporting it too. Massive thank you again to all of these channel members, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.